describe a card game that I actually got from a colleague a long time ago called 99. It's a super fun game, very quick to set up, easy to play for just a few minutes in class. Most card games are actually excellent math games too, because they not only involve probability and things of that nature, but the cards have numbers on them. And anytime you're exposed to numbers, much less numbers that also have a pattern that shows that number, that gets your mind used to seeing that number. So for instance, in the picture here, you see the number 10, but you also see 10 hearts arranged in two boxcar formations. Anytime you see that sort of thing, it's going to get your mind used to counting quickly and seeing the quantity 10. 99 is a great card game for practicing mental addition and planning your moves in advance rather than just going for it. It's also good for predicting what other people's reactions will be. Sometimes these things are picked up naturally by students, and sometimes you have to have a little bit of a discussion to get the kid to start thinking along those lines. But it's a great game, it's fun, it's competitive, and kids like to play it over and over and over again. That's one of the best ways to learn anything, is by repetition. The game can handle anywhere from 2 to 4 players. I've never played it with more than 4 people. I suppose you could, but it might break down some of the dynamic of back and forth a little bit. But all you need is a deck of playing cards. And one thing that I used to do, I still do, whenever I travel, is I get decks of cards from places I've gone. So this is from White Sands. In my classroom, I had decks of cards from all over. I had like 30 different decks. And the kids would get to choose which guard deck was from the place that they wanted to go or that they just wanted to have. So I had decks of cards from Hawaii. I had decks of cards from Alaska, from Chicago, from New York City, from Dallas, Texas, from Colorado, from Arizona, from Seattle, Washington. I've got cards from everywhere. Florida, everywhere. And it made for great fun for playing cards, and I would just keep them in their original boxes. Some of them came in the little plastic cases. Sometimes the boxes you have to tape the bottom of it, but that's all good. If the box were out, I would put them in a plastic Ziploc bag. Those are a great way to keep cards safe. 2 to 4 players, 1 deck of cards, and 3 objects per player. Sometimes it's pennies, sometimes it's little counters, sometimes it's just a marker mark on their desk. Tally marks. But you just need to have every player start out with 3 marks or 3 objects. So the overall goal of the game is to be the only player left alive. You play in several different rounds, and the goal of each round is to force one of the other players to not be able to play one of their cards. And your goal is to get to 99, but you cannot go over 99. So if you can't play one of the specialty cards when the stack is at 99, and all you have are like a 3, a 6, a 3. So like if this were your hand at the end and the stack says 99 and it's your turn, you can't play because all of these cards will make the stack over 99. And that's when that round ends and you would lose a life. So if you were the one that was not able to play, it was your turn, you would lose a life. All the other players would keep a life. If you lose all 3 of your lives, then you're out of the game and it moves down to just 3 people, and then just 2 people, and then just 1 person. The last player to still have a life is the winner of the game. It can take quite a long time or can go really quick. You can also just take out the whole lives aspect of it and just play different rounds and see who all gets to lose a round, because there really is no true winner of a round, but there is a true loser of the round. So each round begins with one player dealing out the cards and shuffling the cards and then dealing them out. And then the deal switches to each player. You have to pass the deal around the table. And the person on the dealer's left is the one that always goes first. So if I'm the dealer, I shuffle, I deal it out. Whoever's on my left gets to make the first move. I deal out 4 cards to each player. You can have up to 4 players, but you can have as few as 2. And then you place the deck, as you can see on the screen, in the center of the table, and you turn the top card face up. If the top card happens to be a king, you can decide to go ahead and play it, or you can flip the king and put it in the middle of the deck somewhere and try again. and you'll understand why when I explain to you what the kings do. After the deal, each player takes turns putting one of their cards onto the stack in the center of the table and announcing what the new total is. So on the screen here, you see that there is a 10 that has been laid down first. The next player, if they play a 3, they would lay the 3 down and they would say 13. The player after that, if they had a 6 and they laid a 6 down, they would say 19. And then if the next player played a 3, it would be 21 or no, 22. And so on and so forth until you get up to 99. So here are the specialty cards that I play with on a regular basis, but this is for a game that has only 2 players. If you have 3 players or 4 players, then an 8 and a 9 are also added into the mix, and they have the powers of reverse and skip. But if you have only 2 players, then it makes no sense to reverse or skip, because your whole idea is to get the other person, force them to be unable to play. So the king. And it's any king, any color, any suit, but the king. If you play a king, no matter what the total on the stack is, the stack becomes 99. So if the stack is 13 and somebody plays a king, then they say 99. If the stack is 54 and someone plays a king, it's 99. If the stack is 98 and someone plays a king, the stack is 99. If the stack is 99 and someone plays a king, the stack is 99. So the king is a pretty powerful card. Queen. The queen adds nothing to the stack. So if the stack is 99 and you play a queen, you're good because you haven't gone over 99. It adds nothing to the stack. A jack is a minus 10. It is a negative number. So if you play it at the beginning, then you start out at negative 10. If you play it at 99, then it actually subtracts 10 from 99 and the stack becomes 89. If you play an ace either adds 1 to the pile or it adds 11, and that's a player's choice. If you have any one of the number cards, 2 through 9, well, 10 also, in this play, a 10 adds 10 to the pile, so it also just adds its face value. So any card from 2 to 10 will just add its face value. So 5 adds 5, 4 adds 4, 7 adds 7, and 10 adds 10. So the game plays that I use are the ones that are on the far right. The one that has the 9 to 2 are adding the face value. That's the set that I generally play with. But I learned on the set that's in the middle where you have the king is 99, the queen is minus 10, the jack is minus 10, the 10 is plus 10, the 9 is plus 0, skip the next person, the 8 is plus 0, reverse it, the ace is always adding 1 or 11. I did see another option, which is the option on the left, where the queen is plus 0 and reverse, and then the 9 is plus 0, skip, and then your 10 and your 2 through 8 are all just adding their face value. You can, of course, add your own flair. Change it up. See what works well for you. In this next slide, there is an example game that I'm playing with one of my tutoring students who agreed to be in one of my videos. We are using the 2-person rules. So I will comment on the game as we play it. I put the rules that we played by on the screen. They are also on the little yellow card that's in the center of the table.
All right, start by dealing 4 cards to each person. Each person has 3 lives. We're using these little cars to represent our lives.
The little cars I use in another game that I have. That was pretty much all I had. And they're cute. They're made by my nephew. Hi, Miller.
Turn the top one over. Queen. Queen is 0, so right now it's 0. So lay down a card and then add that to the total.
Okay, so that would be 10.
Correct. And now 16, because 10 and 6 is 16. After you place a card, you draw another card.
Okay. 17.
So the aces could be 1 or 11. She's chosen 1. 17 and 8 is 25.
28.
35.
One thing you might notice your students doing is counting before they lay their card down. And that's okay in the beginning. You'll find that
Geez,
as they
11,
play the
that's
game more and more, they have to count less.
57.
That's what happens when you
67.
practice mental math. You get better and better at it.
67 and 5 would be 72.
70, what? Wait, it was 72, right?
72.
72. 75.
79.
This would be 79.
This is the learning part.
88.
She's having to think.
So you can go 79. Count it up.
Oh, okay.
Do it. It's not 88.
79. 87.
87.
So I just helped her to correct her
90.
mistake and showed her how she can use the cards to help that. Played a king, it automatically goes to
No
99.
matter what the total on the deck is, if you put a king down, it makes it automatically 99. So luckily I have this. 99 plus 0 is still 99.
And then, alright, and then I'm going to just do a minus 10, so 80. Not 80. 89.
89. So the jack subtracts 10, so it's at 89 now. And 89 plus 6 is 95.
And then 0.
So still 95. 99.
89.
You like 89, don't you?
This can go on quite a long time until special
99.
cards are run out.
I know.
If you happen to run out of,
Yeah, so she loses one of her cards. We gather up
she
the
had
deck,
nothing left, so.
and we play again until somebody has no lives left. But because she was unable to play a card without going over 99, she's out. She loses a life. And that's 99.
If while you're playing the draw stack runs out, then you take the top card off of the face-up stack and you shuffle and you start over again. I haven't had to do that very often, and if I do, it's generally in a 4-person game because you have a lot more people drawing cards and playing cards. And it can just continue. And it can go back and forth for quite some time, going 99 to 89 and 99 to 89 or 99 plus 0, and that sort of thing can go on for quite some time. Here's some things to consider. The first one I've already told you about. When you have 2 players, reverse and skip are kind of useless. Playing with lives, like the 3 little cards, makes for a longer gameplay. So if I were doing a Fun Friday in my classroom, we would play with lives. It's important that only the player whose turn it is figures the total when laying down a card. If somebody else is always doing the adding for them, then they never learn to add it themselves. So that was a rule that I made in my classroom, that the person who's playing the card has to be the one that does the addition. If another player notices a mistake, then they simply say, try again, or add that again, something of that sort, so they can refigure it. And show them how to use the little symbols on the card to count. The king can be played at any time during the game. Sometimes playing it early can really throw things off because it doesn't allow people time to sort of collect special cards that they can play at the end. So sometimes it's like only 25, somebody plays a king, it's 99, and the second person or the next person doesn't have any of the special cards that can be played, which would be a queen or a jack or another king. For an added challenge, if you have a lot of players who are really good at the game, then make it such that if they forget to draw, they don't get to replace those cards. That really reduces their options on what they can play at the end of the game if they keep forgetting to draw a card. It also teaches them to pay attention to what's going on and helps them learn how to follow along. And that's the 99 card game. I hope you really have fun with it playing in your class. When I would do it in classes, I would divide the class up into groups of anywhere from 2 to 4. And I would wander around and watch the games as they were being played so I could monitor and help people along. If it was a really small class, I might actually take part in one of the games. And sometimes, to teach the kids how to do it, I would have a 4-person game in the middle of the room and have the people standing around and watch one round of the game. And the more they play, the more they get used to it. The more they get used to the strategy, the more they get used to planning ahead and seeing that their moves, how it affects the game and how it affects what other people can do. And that teaches a student more than just math skills, but also how to plan their own moves and how their actions affect people around them. And that's something at the middle school level that kids are just learning, that what they do has consequences with other people. So it's another thing that you can learn from this besides the mental math aspect of it. But I would always highlight the mental math aspect of it because the people who could easily do the mental math had a bit of an advantage over the people who didn't. And then I would let the kids know that, hey, mental math is a skill that you can get really good at, but you got to practice it. It's just like anything. And I would use the idea of push-ups or weightlifting. Do you do just one push-up and then you're good to go for the rest of your life? Well, no, you got to keep doing them. Are they crazy super fun? Not for me, but I want to be strong. So therefore I have to do things that make me strong, because then in the future, when I want to do something that requires strength, if I've done a lot of push-ups, then I have the ability to do that. And that's the same way with mental math. If I practice it a lot, then I've got that skill. And in the future, when I need it, it'll be there when I need it. Thanks for watching, and have a fun time in your math class.